So the tax filing deadline for taxes for 2020 is on May 17th, 2021 by midnight. So that is the tax filing deadline, but that's not the only thing you need to know. Let's go through the IRS's steering clear of common errors that they just posted on their website to make sure that what you're doing is the correct way to do your filing for 2020. But before we get into it, if this is your first time at our channel or you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button at the bottom. My name is Travis, Sickle Certified Financial Planner, helping you reach your financial goals. So let me go ahead and pull it up on the screen. Let's go through these points together really quickly so you know that you're doing it right. If you need more time, we'll also talk about that. But number one, use electronic filings. So they're actually talking about using the software because the software stays up to date, whether it's TurboTax or TaxSlayer, whatever software you're using. But it's not just about the filing side of it. It's also about the preparation, that they're going to prompt for common errors or common questions or a lot of updates that have already been occurring on your taxes. That's going to show up on the tax software. That's what they're advocating. Now, if you're like me, filing your taxes at the very last second, I do not like to have any errors electronically. I do send it the paper version every single time because I always wait until the last minute. And here's how I do it. I'm always sending out via mail. I'm printing it out using the software, printing it out, and then sending it certified mail right here. So I'm getting the receipt, sending it's the little green one you can get at the post office. I attach it to my receipt and keep it. For any reason they lose it in the mail or the IRS doesn't process it, you have proof. They will accept it. They have for me in the past. They've lost it. And then I've showed them the receipt. They say, great, just send us another copy and everything is great. Now it does take a little bit longer if you file it by the United States Postal Service versus sending it in electronically. The only problem that I've had in the past is I've sent it electronically. It gets rejected like a day later. So then I have to resubmit it. And if you're at the deadline, you only have 10 days to fix it. So when in doubt, send the paper version. That's what I would say to do. Of course, from their perspective, you're going to be able to file it quicker if you do it electronically. And it obviously makes it a lot easier for the IRS. But for your perspective, if you really want them to get it, sending the paper version, sending it with a certified mail receipt is probably your best bet. Number two on this list is report all taxable income. Well, that goes without saying. Anything that you think you have income from, you need to report. So even if you don't get the report, you don't get a 1099, but you know you have the income, you need to go track down that report or report the income. If you know what it is, if you know that it's income, put it on your return, because if you don't, then you're just going to get penalties and you're going to cause a lot of problems for yourself. So don't do that. And remember too, if you make errors with the IRS, sometimes they're willing to work with you, but if you're making errors that you know are errors, well, guess what? They might forgive that part, but then when you actually have an error, you used your get out of jail free card. So basically what it is, then you're not going to have it. So don't do it. If you have the income, report it. Don't play that game. Get names and social security numbers right. Obviously, that goes without saying. Learn about filing status. Same thing. They have this interactive tax assistant. I'll put that link in the description at the bottom. If you have a question how you're going to file, if you do have questions on how to file, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see if we can answer some of those. And then correctly answer the virtual currency question. So this is for cryptocurrencies. This is for Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever cryptocurrencies you're buying, selling, or trading. And here's what it looks like. So let's go ahead and pull up the tax form. And don't play this game either, because they're gonna figure it out eventually. So at any time during 2020, did you receive, sell, send, exchange, or otherwise acquire any financial interest in any virtual currency? So the part that I want to point out, otherwise acquire. Let's say you're mining, that's acquiring it. So you need to report it if you're mining any of the cryptocurrencies. You need to check that box. Yes, eventually you're going to get caught if you're trying to stay under the radar, thinking that cryptocurrencies aren't trackable. That's not entirely true. And just really good luck trying to keep that away from the IRS. And don't do it, because it's just going to get worse as it moves forward. They're going to figure out how to track it. And they're targeting it. They want to know. So if it's on their radar, I wouldn't mess around with that. Of course, I don't even know how they got that question on there. from basically, in my opinion, an invasion of privacy if you've acquired it. Now, if you sold it, I can understand that. That has capital gains on it. But otherwise, and the exchange part too, same thing. But sending any of it, I don't know. Or acquiring it, if you're mining it, I don't know. But you have to check off the yes if that's the case. So don't mess with that one. That's for all cryptocurrencies. So they're calling it virtual currencies. Mail paper returns to the right address. So that's an interesting point. Make sure that whatever form you're using, that you're going down and looking to the correct address. And the addresses for all things from the IRS have both with and without payments, and depending on where you live, which state. So you want to not just look up an address and send it. You want to make sure that it's the correct IRS address. So double check that, making sure it's going to the right location. It'll be on the tax form at the very end in the instructions. The next one is use the right routing and account numbers. So this is getting your refunds back. So if that's the case, then guess what? You want to make sure you get that right. Double, triple, quadruple check that. Sign and date the return. Of course, make sure that you're signing and dating it. If it's not there, then it doesn't count. So, and then keep a copy. Absolutely. I would copy the final version. You know, there's so many apps out there you can download to scan with your phone that anyone can do it. And that's exactly what I do. I use the Dropbox app, the scanning tool. I scan everything in after we sign it. That means everything is exactly as the IRS would have it, and that's what you should do. You should even scan in the check that you send them. Once they cash it, you can go to your bank and get a copy of that image, but don't wait until then. You want to have proof that you sent this stuff out. Keep it all together. Be organized about it. It'll help you in the long run. And then request an extension if needed. So yeah, you want it. The form right here, again, I'll put this link in the description at the bottom. Form 4868. I did a video on it yesterday on how to fill it out. It's really simple, really easy to do. I would say if you're not even done with your taxes, you haven't started them, send that off. It doesn't even matter. Just send it off. If you do your taxes on time, great. And if you're a day or two late, then guess what? You have that extension filed, so you don't have to lose sleep over it. And everybody is trying to figure out their taxes right now. So if you can't get your questions answered and you feel like you're getting up against that deadline, send off the extension. Do the same thing. I would print it out, rip it off. It's a slip. It's a part of the page. Rip it off and send it to the IRS certified mail. Same thing as before. Get the receipt. It's a couple of dollars worth every penny. It saved me money in the past. Saved me $1,500. And that was a whole battle. I did a whole video on that. You can watch that video. I talked about it yesterday too. But that is what you want to send out, the extension. And just send it out right away. So you don't have to get up against the deadline and wondering if you're going to run over to the post office. Just get it in the mail, get it out. Then you can take a minute to do your taxes. And if there's any forms that you don't have, you can wait for those to come in the mail. It gives you a little bit of a breathing room, especially when everybody's going to the post office to send it off, because it's always busy on tax day. So this year it's going to be May 17th. So you don't want to be at the post office at 9, 10, 11 at night on May 17th, waiting in line. So send off the extension, take your time, not a big deal. Send it certified mail, do it before May 17th so you don't have to wait on that line for even the extension. But that's the way to do it. So quick run through on typical errors when filing your taxes. May 17th is the deadline. Get it in or file the extension. But don't be late on that filing, because the failure to file penalty is much greater than failure to pay. So you obviously want to pay too, but if you can't pay, still file, because there are 2 sets of penalties. So that's all I've got for today. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.